working his quest through initiatives like Remote How and AI Mentor. He's helped grow remote work and AI communities through the Remote First Institute and the Saudi AI Leadership Forum. He's the author of Remote Work is the Way, a speaker at 200 plus events. I think he's also currently at a summit right now as well. And Ivo blends work insights with various passion. So I think he really walks the talk. So glad to have you here, Ivo. I don't need to speak anymore. I think I can just hand it over to you, and excited for your session.
Amazing. Thank you so much. Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Last session, but I hope that you're still up with us. I will do my best to keep you energized for the next 20, 30 minutes. So without further ado, let's keep the party going. So I now have a typical question. If you can see my slide, if everything is good, and if I had thumbs up, if you can react, some emojis using Zoom, that it will be amazing. So officially, hello everyone. My name is Iwo Szapar, and this slide should tell you that theoretically I know what I'm doing here, so you're not wasting your time. But today we're here to talk about AI. And there is one particular word that comes to my mind when it comes to AI. We are overwhelmed. And there is also a feeling of being concerned. And the data shows that even 47% of us worry that as the advancements of the AI keep going, within the 5 years, we might lose jobs. Some of our jobs, right? So in general, we are concerned, we are overwhelmed. So there's a lot of, I would say, things that are coming up that we should be aware of. And I think one of the key things is to be honest with yourself and see what you are actually doing right now that might be automated or augmented, and what task will actually remain human only. So I wanted to inspire you and show you where we see a huge potential for automation. And those are the 3 examples, right? So think about that in a few years, these and other tasks will be automated, right? So here you can think about, okay, maybe I need to do some upskilling, maybe I need to do some reskilling, right? Then we see this area where a lot of tasks will be augmented. And this is mostly what we see right now, that we can get stuff done way faster using certain tools, but we are driving the task, right? And here are some examples from the HR world, right? And then, of course, let's do not forget, and that was mentioned today, that there will be still a lot of work for us as humans, right? Now, especially if you think about one of my favorite, that is managing the change, right? AI is just another digital transformation. We went through it many, many times before, and someone needs to manage it, right? So keep in mind that what you're doing right now will change. Some of the things will be gone, some will stay with AI as a superpower, but there will be key things that you will be still doing, right? Of course, when we're thinking about upskilling and reskilling, AI is an essential aspect of it, right? So I will be sharing today with you some of the insights from the maturity index that we're running right now with some of the scientists in Harvard. And one of the things that we can already see there is that there is a true gap. There is a skill gap, but if you're looking from the company's perspective, from businesses, they're looking for people who have skills with AI that are going beyond just writing emails with ChatGPT, right? But from the user perspective, when you're like, okay, where should I go? What should I be using? Like, the landscape is overwhelming. It's both hard to measure. It's also hard to understand what you should actually be using, right? And then on top of that, you have new use cases where you can use AI that are coming up basically every day. So yes, AI right now, Gen AI landscape is overwhelming, right? So we have this overwhelming kind of situation. And on top of that, people are trying to figure this out. Like you want to do your job. So as the latest study a few months ago, my Microsoft and LinkedIn uncovered that, yes, 78% of people are using AI at work, but there is this new trend, bring your own AI to work, which means that people are using totally different, sometimes random, sometimes maybe not secure tools while they're trying to figure this out, right? So that's definitely not something that is recommended. So structuring AI adoption, understanding, measuring is a very, very important aspect. So right now we asked ourselves the question, like, what if we can measure something that we called AIQ? It would be pretty cool. So we assembled a team of AI in future of work evangelists, where we, as I mentioned, involve also scientists from Harvard to come up with an AI maturity index. Because we had a lot of questions and we wanted answers, like what is the current adoption? How does it actually look like? What are the factors when we're talking about adoption? What kind of tools people are using? What are the use cases? How does it vary depending on demographics, roles, industries, right? I'm working in the HR space in the US for companies, and mid-sized companies in fintech industry. What are other HR people using, right? What are the use cases? What are the tools, right? Then, of course, there is the psychological impact of AI. Is it positive? Is it negative? What are the concerns, right? And then also, like, what is the future? Of course, it's really hard right now to predict it, but you can already see some trends and plans among knowledge workers. So there are a lot of questions. So we were like, okay, it would be nice to find answers, but the current methods of how we can learn it are pretty inefficient. So either you have a lot of interviews that you need to run one-on-one. Yes, you get very good quality data, but it costs a lot and it's a lot of time. And then on the other side, you have surveys that, yes, may be faster, but you cannot go that much in depth when you're running such research. So of course, what we did, we used AI for that. So for the AI maturity index, we're using a chatbot. There is a chain of prompts. So it's basically a way to structure the conversation. In our case, it's gathering 85 different data points, and it's really a magic. It's a combination of a survey and the user interview, while totally done by AI. So it's really the best of both worlds, and you will have a chance to get a free access to it today. So the end results of the conversation with AI after the research, and the research is free, anyone can join, is not only getting a score and understanding where you are, but it's also about getting benchmarks to your peers, like I mentioned, something that was for now reserved only if you become a client of PwC or McKinsey or BCG, and you pay millions of dollars to get it, right? Then last but not least, use cases and step-by-step guides. So we all are craving information like, okay, so how can I do it? Like literally tell me step by step, right? So right now we're building this this database of use cases, and we'll be building guides for everyone that joins. So you can actually get access to it right now. So you can just scan the QR code that I have here on my slide and start talking with the assistant right away, or just scan it, sign up, and then you can continue afterwards. But a maturity index is actually the first step, and I will be sharing this throughout my whole presentation. What are the actionable steps when you're thinking like, okay, we would like to become AA ready, we would like to understand where we are, and we would like to become better? There are certain steps, and understanding this first point is absolutely crucial. It's like a typical discovery when you're doing this with a consulting company. So feel free to scan it. It's free, and you will get results when we publish the research in October. So I wanted to show you some of the teaser of the results, because we are already past quite some milestones. So we interviewed over 1,200 people. They sent to AI over 31,000 messages, which equals 13,000 minutes, and a lot of interesting stuff has been mentioned. So we're already gathering a lot of interesting data that then you can use to improve your AI adoption. It's global, all over the world, so you'll get an understanding of your peers, also of your peers within your job roles, within your age, gender, employment, if they're remote or hybrid or on-site. So a lot of interesting insights to really understand what is the true AI adoption, how people are using AI, and then learning from it. So some first insights, obviously, the top tool categories are, of course, all sorts of LLMs, but then we have different productivity tools, image generation. There is a growing category of business intelligence and analytics, obviously content creation, collaboration, project management. I think should be more than here, but this is still early days. Assistants and chatbots. I think this is an interesting area that will keep growing from an HR perspective. Really interesting to replace surveys, to support performance reviews. So look at platforms that are offering this as a way to enhance your HR stack. Then, of course, the audio video tools, custom solutions. More and more companies are building in-house solutions because it's so easy and relatively cheap for some simple use cases, and of course, developer tools. So those are the top categories. Then if we're looking at frequency of use of AI, who are the heaviest users? So the smaller company from 1 to 50, then they're in most cases using this multiple times per day. Mid-sized companies, not that much, and then enterprises, of course. Then when it comes to the location, remote workers are using AI way more than people working in the office. And then industries, you see that services, professional services, marketing, financial services are way heavier users than when we're talking about education, healthcare, telecom, and oil and energy. So you can see already some patterns here. Then when we're asking people like how they feel about AI, so who is in love with AI right now? So geo-wise, North America, UK, Europe, who actually is not yet a big fan. We see currently India, Middle East, it's still the adoption is catching up, and also that the user love. Industry-wise, similar to previously, company size, the more love for AI. Employment, freelancers, contractors love it more compared to full-time employees. And yes, remote workers are in love with AI. When we're talking about the factors of adoption, and this is the exercise that we're going through through the research, different areas, right? Here you have a preview, but it's really important to understand it's not just, oh, I'm using AI and that it's enough. No, there are different things that should be evaluated, especially from the company perspective, to then have a full overview on what you can change, what you should change and address when it comes to AI, right? So there's way more coming with the research of the full report. So stay tuned, because like I said, there will be a lot of use cases that you can just copy paste. There will be benchmarks where you can compare yourselves to your peers. There will be understanding of what's coming in the future. So it's gonna be really quoting one of my favorite quotes from the TV series. It's gonna be legendary. So now you can ask yourself a question like how to actually become AA ready. So AA maturity index is the first step. If you're like, okay, I would like to understand where I am, this is again the QR code. You can just scan it and talk with the assistant. Then the second thing that I wanted to inspire you, after you have the initial snapshot, please have an open conversation with your employees about the planned adoption for AI. AI Town Hall is something that is really good. Then a bit of a secret sauce, do the task segmentation, either yourself as an individual or a team or a company. You can Google something called step framework, or can reach out to me afterwards and I'm happy to share with you the insights on it. But basically, it's very simple. It starts with segmentation, then it's a transition, it's education, and then it's performance. Basically, in the first part, you're categorizing your tasks into automation, augmentation, and human only. So you really have an overview of where you are and what are the risks and challenges and what are the opportunities, right? Then you're redistributing tasks between roles, and this is the transition role. Then you have education, because there will be a lot of reskilling and there will be a lot of upskilling that you need to leverage. And then, of course, there is performance. So you should be measuring this adoption. So ideally, you measure it in the beginning, you have an understanding, and then you continuously, for example, quarterly run an index. What I also encourage you to test is an AI hackathon. Basically, AI hackathon, and this is not only for software engineers, is an event that can last for a few hours or maybe 1 or 2 days, where people are brainstorming and building prototypes of AI solutions. There's so many no-code tools these days that you can use to really address very specific challenges that you have. So get people together, make sure that there is a tangible outcome that people are going after with a specific business problem. It can be virtual, it can be in person. AI hackathons are really helping with the AI adoption at scale. And then, of course, do not forget that AI should be supporting you throughout the whole process, right? So you can get an AI assistant that is actually helping people as like a transition coach to help employees navigate the AI integration into their workflows, right? So measure, talk with people, understand what are the tasks that will be augmented, automated versus human only, host events when you're building solutions for augmentation and automation, and provide support to your employees through AI assistance. So as I talk a lot about the data and the discovery, we're funding this research from our own pockets, and we still have some free slots for teams to do it. There are only 2 left. So if you're interested in understanding what is your AI maturity index as a team, you can also join as individual. Just scan this QR code, send me a quick connection request on LinkedIn. First come, first serve. So be quick, and then we can do this AI maturity index for your team for free. So you really get the data, you really get the benchmark. So first come, first serve. Probably those that already scanned, I have their connections. So that's amazing. If you want to just talk as an individual with the AI maturity index assistant, feel free to do it here. Here's the final QR code. The goal of the index is to really open source the understanding or where we are with AI, where we are going, what are the use cases, what are the tools, and really think about what is the future and how it will impact your job, the task that your team or your company are doing, because the developments are so fast. I don't know if you've tested the latest model released by OpenAI a few days ago, but this model is able to reason or like start to reason when it can even think for like even 10 minutes in order to execute something. So it's thinking, it's you can see how it previews tasks. And for instance, it's able to deliver within a few minutes of thinking a full-fledged strategy that the McKinsey consultants would be working on for a few months, right? So things are crazy, and it's really good to understand where you are right now, what are the opportunities, what others are doing, not to be left behind. So it was a true honor and pleasure to join and share some of the insights.